I'm excited to talk about SEO today, search engine optimization. And I'm here with my friend Kirsten. She's a marketing coach extraordinaire who helps her clients with video marketing and connecting with virtual marketing assistants. So thank you, Kirsten, for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited about today's topic.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's something we talk about all the time. And sometimes we skip over the basics and we get into the weeds. And I know I have that problem, and no one really cares about the weeds. They want to know what they need to know. So, Kirsten, what do you think? What is it that small business owners need to know about SEO?
Well, I think the first thing is, what is SEO? I just call it voodoo magic. In my world, SEO is just voodoo magic, right? Don't know how it happens. So I think that's the basic thing that most people want to understand is, what is SEO? And then how can they implement it into their business, or what should they be asking a web developer like you who's developing their website? Let's talk just about the basics to start off.
Well, search engine optimization is one of those things where most people think, oh, I pay someone to do this and then they do it and it's done. No, no. Search engine optimization covers a broad range of activities and tasks, anything that is going to help your business show up in a search result on something like Google or Bing or Yahoo, anything that's going to convince the search engines that your company, your services are valuable enough, authoritative enough to deliver up on the first page.
You kind of do what they want you to do so that you do get pulled up.
Exactly. And that's the odd thing, is because you have to do certain things that communicate specifically to the search engine. However, what the search engines are really looking for and what their algorithms are really wanting to reward is anything that makes your website valuable, informative, and useful to your website visitors. So they don't want to deliver a link to a website that is just everything for them. They want to make sure that you've asked a question. You as being the person who goes to Google and says, where can I find X? Or what's the solution to X? They want to deliver content that's going to answer that question, that's going to deliver a resource that's meaningful to you.
Yeah, that's like my extent of SEO is when we're helping our clients understand, like SEO for YouTube. And I usually say, I just think about, searching for questions that, your ideal client is asking, and then answer those questions and make sure that those titles are very clear that they answer the question, and that your tags and your description for your videos, are going to have those keywords in it. And I think it's that, like, that's my basic understanding of it, right? People ask questions into a Google or YouTube, or like you said, Bing. And then our goal is to just answer that question. So hopefully, our information gets pulled up. But I know that there's so much more that goes into SEO for websites than, say, basically for YouTube.
So what you're talking about, Kirsten, is the content optimization. If you've got a page or a video, you want to make sure it is using all the right keywords and key phrases, and it is tagged appropriately. All of those things that make it easy for YouTube or Google to index and digest it and know what's there. But then there's a whole other world behind the scenes of SEO, which I think it's easy to forget, it's easy to ignore, and then it's really easy for it to bite you in the butt if you are ignoring it. And what I'm talking about is you build your website and maybe it's not totally mobile responsive. And in a way, that's old hat. Most people are building mobile responsive websites these days, but you'd be surprised how many I run across.
Yeah,
If your website is not mobile responsive, the search engines will go, what is this? And they will throw it to the back of the pile.
So is it making sure your website's secure is important too? Because obviously, I don't know if that really is relevant to search engine optimization, but if your site says it's not secure, people obviously aren't going to go to your site. So what is that all about?
It's huge. If your site is not secure, then it's saying to the search engines, this site doesn't care about the safety of the website visitors. And therefore, we don't want to recommend this site for you to visit. So that is the kiss of death. If you don't have your SSL secure socket layer activated for your website, if you don't have that little lockbox up in the address bar, forget it. You're not really trying to be visible. Another thing that we sometimes forget is if your website is filled with broken links or pages that don't deliver, that's another sign to the search engines that this site is out of date, it's been abandoned. The same thing as if you build a website. I love it. It's a Field of Dreams website. Build it and they will come. And I built it 5 years ago and
And
I'm
they're
still
not.
waiting, but I built it 5 years ago and I've done nothing to update anything. And it's probably filled with broken links. Google will step over that and kick it to the curb.
Let's talk about the links, because when I think about links on our website, I think about the links that go to some of our landing pages or our free gifts or to book a call with us. And I know, it's technology, right? We all love it and we hate it at the same time. So one of the things that we do is we have one of our virtual assistant who checks our links every month to make sure that they're all working. Because sometimes, we think they're working, they were working last week, but it's always good to check your links and make sure they are still working, especially if you're using like Zaps, right? If you're using Zaps to kind of integrate everything, sometimes they just fall off. And it's these little tiny maintenance things that I think we all forget to do. I mean, luckily I have Jeannie, my business partner, is kind of like you, Gayle. She's tech crazy. And so we kind of have a system to make sure these things happen. But yeah, I mean, it's horrible because I know we've actually had call to actions to a link that didn't work. How terrible is that, right? Or I have seen on Facebook when someone's running an ad and then in the comments there's a bunch of things that says the link doesn't work. How terrible is that? You're paying money for an ad and the link isn't working. But it's just technology. It could have been working when you tested it and something happened. So I just feel like that's kind of, you have to have the mindset that, that's just a consistent thing that you have to keep on top of, or have your web developer keep on top of it for you.
Right. And that's where it goes into, you're going to spend time or money one way or the other, whether you do it or you hire someone to do it. And the services that I'm providing, baseline website maintenance and security, a good part of that activity is impacting your search engine optimization. But it's just basic care and feeding of a good website, taking care of all those links, making sure they don't decay. It really is critical for the search engines and for whether or not you want your visitors to
Right.
interact with you, which is the
Well,
whole point, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. Well, since we're talking about links, will you please explain backlinks to me? To be honest, I just like always baffles my mind. Like, what are they, and how do you get them, and how does it really affect your website and your SEO?
And it's actually a pretty deep topic, but very quickly, you have internal links and you have external links. Internal links are those links within your property. And they might be the link from your call to action to the form that you ask people to fill out. It might be a link from one page where you're talking about a general topic, and then you give them an anchor link within the text so they can find out what exactly that is. Like, what exactly is a backlink? Click. So those are internal links, and they're important because search engines look at that and think, how thoughtful of this website to make it easy for visitors to explore the topics on these pages. So those are important. But what you're talking about are backlinks. Backlinks are external links, and they are links that come from outside websites back to your own website. And those could be, go through a few of them. There are lots of directories, tons of directories out there. They might be your local Better Business Bureau or Manta or Yelp, those types of directories. And they might be very obscure directories. They might be directories that are for your profession. I work with a lot of law firms. So there's Avo, there's lawyers.com, there's all of the bar association profiles. Those are all directory links that come back to your website. And those are very valuable backlinks. A high authority website like a bar association or avo.com, which is a thing in the legal profession, but attorneys.com, lawyers.com, those are high traffic, high authority sites. They come back to your site, and that gives you even more point. I often think in terms of a point system. If it's a local directory, maybe it doesn't have a lot of points. But if, let's say, you have sent out a press release about your company and you have an article in the New York Times that refers to your company, they will often put a link to your company website. Well, that's a really authoritative backlink, and you want those.
That are not writing for the New York Times, maybe just like start off with the directories, or make sure you're asking your web developer, what directories are we putting this in so I get backlinks? Is that how you would recommend someone to
Right.
talk to a web developer about it?
Yeah, there are services I provide where we really work to send out your directory information to these aggregate servers that then send it out to hundreds of directories. And that's where you really hit some good pay dirt. It's very valuable. But it's interesting when you are on other social media platforms, if you are active on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, which of course is also a search engine, but if you're active on those, if you're posting, each one of those posts that then are linked to your website also are authoritative. And you just begin building up all of that. We call it link juice. All of
Right.
that link juice. So that's why it's very important to have an active content marketing efforts, which content marketing could be videos that Kirsten, you're so great at helping your clients with and social media, all of that add to that link love.
Right. Yeah, it's so funny. Again, like Jeannie's great with website stuff and you're great. And I feel like I learned just a little bit, but I always talk about, I think back in the day when small businesses first started getting websites, they almost treated it like a stagnant brochure. Like it was like just an online brochure, right? And I always like to use the example, if you and I both have a 10-page website that we have built today, but every week for the next 52 weeks, you add a blog post at the end of the year, you've got a 62-page website, and I still have a 10-page website.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
yeah, it's these little things that make a big difference. And, for us, we're really big in taking the video transcripts and then converting them into a blog post because then you're kind of using the same content twice and getting those
Right.
keywords in there. Yeah. So if you tell somebody one really good, juicy thing about what is SEO and how can you really help your website, what would that big tip be?
One of the first things you should do is make sure that all your information is accurate on your website and that you have a Google business profile with all the accurate information. And then whether you do it yourself or you do it through the service of someone else, make sure that you are hooked into these networks of directories.
And
That is really important to have consistent information across the board.
right. And I think also, like when I kept saying when you talk to your, because several times I said talk to your web developer, but the reality is the person who built your website, if they didn't talk to you about ongoing SEO services, they just kind of built your website and left, they're really not doing a service, right? So Gayle, I know anytime you develop a website, it's here's your website, but here's our ongoing plan for SEO because
Absolutely.
that is not one and done. So if you're out there and your website developer, whoever built your website, didn't talk to you about ongoing SEO and either tell you what you could do, like giving you instructions or offering you a plan that could help you, then you definitely want to reach out to Gayle because she can definitely tell you what you need to do. And then if you need to hire her to do it, her team can do it for you. But again, it's not one and done. And I think that's a hard thing for all of us to remember.
It is. It's kind of like I thought of this morning. It's kind of like your website, as you said, it's a static brochure. Taking a brochure about your business and going to one coffee shop, going to one Starbucks and pinning it to the bulletin board and saying, okay, it's up. And then if people ask you where your website is, you say you have to go to that Starbucks that's on the corner.
Right.
And wouldn't it be nice if you put it up and then it went to all the Starbucks?
Right.
And then you also made sure that it was on the bulletin board of every independent coffee shop in town. And then you expanded beyond the coffee shops.
Yeah, I love that analogy. That really gives you a visual to think about. That's awesome.
Well, I'm really excited about everyone being a little more knowledgeable about search engine optimization and doing even that one little thing that's going to help your website. And Kirsten, I thank you for being here today. And I think you have something for our listeners.
Yeah, thanks for having me. We love helping our clients with YouTube, obviously, which is SEO rich content, value added content for your clients. And we do that by pairing our clients with a virtual assistant in the Philippines who can help do all of the SEO work, all the video editing, repurposing that content for a blog post on your website, along with all your social media accounts. So our gift for you is a guide. It's called Double Your Income with a Marketing Virtual Assistant. And Gayle, I'm just so thankful you had me here today. I really, really appreciate it. It's been fun having this conversation, and I definitely learned a few things, so thank you.
Oh, good. I'm always amazed. I love that. And if you out there would like to learn more or have some questions about your own website and search engine optimization, please click on the link below and schedule a session with me. Complimentary. Let's just start the conversation. And thank you for being here.